Think of that. Just get that image in your mind. These golden apples just glistening in a setting of silver. Apples nourish us. Apples are a blessing to us. We eat apples. They make the body whole. Some people even say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. I'm reminded of a story. It's about this young lady. She was a swimmer on the Notre Dame swim team. This happened in the 90s. I photographed this lady in Jupiter. She came to speak. I had no idea who I was going to hear, what I was going to hear. They said, just go up, and we need pictures of this woman speaking. And when I got there, they passed out information, and I tried to read real quick to see what was going on, and I just took pictures of her. If you would have seen her, she was this tall lady. She stood erect. She spoke to the crowd like this, very articulate, hardly any body fat on her. I mean, she just was like the picture of health when you looked at her. But she began to proclaim her story. In the 1990s, she was a member of the Notre Dame swim team. The swim team had just gone to Northwestern University to have a swim meet, which is in Chicago, and they were coming back in the winter. The bus somehow, at night, caught a patch of black ice, and it just slid off the road. And the bus turned over on its side, and all of a sudden, there was all this commotion, and people were flying around, and this lady said, I really didn't know what was going on. I just remember that I was lying on my back, and a lot of people were trying to help me. They were all helping me. They weren't helping anybody else. They were helping me. And I couldn't figure it out. I just thought I was fine, and I didn't know why I needed help. They were helping me. 2 women in that bus crash died on that swim team. Now, they carried her. Her name is Helen Scott DeMaria. They carried Helen to the hospital. And when she got to the hospital, they performed these emergency surgeries on her. And then finally, after she came to, after surgery, and her family members were in the room, the nurses and the doctors came in and began to explain to her what had happened, because she had no idea. They said, you were in a terrible bus accident. Your spine has been mangled. You will never walk again. They told her, you're going to have to learn to be paralyzed. We're going to have teachers come in to teach you how to live from a wheelchair. They're going to teach you how to get in and out of bed by using your arms because your legs are not going to work. Your spine is mangled. It's done for. And she listened to them, and she looked at them, and they leave the room. And she says to herself, and she says to her family members, she says, I'm not having it. She says, I am not paralyzed. I will walk again. I will swim again. And she began to say it to herself and her family members. And she made them promise to her that they would say it all the time. She said, I'm not paralyzed. I'm going to walk again. I'm going to swim again. Now, she was a very popular swimmer at Notre Dame. This accident caught the attention of the nation. All of her students, many of her students from campus, teachers and folks who worked, her friends, came to see her. She said hundreds came to see her. But she said, when everybody came in, she made each one of them one at a time promise her to say, Helen's not paralyzed. She's going to walk again. She's going to swim again. Now, they performed a surgery after surgery after surgery. Things were looking glim. She had all of these conversations with the nurses and doctors. They kept telling her, no, you've got to just give in to this. This is the way it's going to be. She said, no, I'm going to walk again. I'm going to swim again. I'm not paralyzed. Some years later, she was at the end of the rope. She felt like giving up. She had told her family members and those close to her, I'm not going to have any more surgeries. I'm done with it. It doesn't seem to be working. I'm done with it. They found this doctor who was doing some kind of new thing with spinal injuries and surgeries, and they encouraged her to just go one last time, and they were somehow able to stretch her spine and make it straight again and stick in pins and do all sorts of things. To make a long story short, decades later when I heard her speak, this young lady was walking around the room just like this. She said, I'm not paralyzed. I do walk. And not only that, she did go back to the University of Notre Dame to swim again. She competed competitively on the collegiate level at Notre Dame. She swam again. Now, she said her very first meet was the fastest time she had in her comeback. So she had that first meet, she swam her fastest, and then after that, her times began to dwindle. That's not the point. What did she say? I'm not paralyzed. I'm going to walk again. I'm going to swim again. Whose report will you believe? Will you believe the report of the doctors when he says some level is too high? Will you believe the report of what people are telling you about your children. They stay out late and they're out there doing all these crazy things and they're going to die. What will you believe? Young people, will you believe what people have said about you? You're not smart. You're never going to amount to anything. You're not going to accomplish it. Whose report will you believe? Will you believe what people say about you, or will you believe what God says about you? Amen. Amen. That's my boy. Amen. We're going to believe what God says about us. The Lord told me to start here. I want to turn through some scriptures. There's a couple of passages that we need to read today, and we're going to get through this. The first is in James chapter 3, and we want to look at verses 2 through 8. James chapter 3, verses 2 through 8. If you have your Bibles, please turn there. James chapter 3, verses 2 through 8. I'm just going to begin reading. James 3, verses 2 through 8. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect, and that word perfect means to be complete, wanting in nothing. If a person doesn't make a mistake with their words, that person is complete and they want for nothing, and is able to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. I read that horses on average weigh from 840 pounds to 2,200 pounds. The horses that are draft horses that pull carts and pull heavy loads, they can weigh as much as 2,200 pounds. There's even one horse reported as weighing 2,600 pounds. All it takes to control those mighty beasts is a little bit in their mouth. You pull it this way to the left, they turn. You pull it this way to the right, they turn. The bit in their mouths puts pressures on their mouth, and they turn wherever the bit tells them to go. The mouth is what turns the situation. The word continues to say, if we pick up in verse 4, behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm or rudder, whithersoever the governor listeth. The largest boat that was ever made was called the Knocknellers. It was longer in length than the Empire State Building is in height. It said it was so heavy that when this thing got up to cruising speed and they wanted to stop it, it took 5 miles to stop it. When it wanted to make a turn, it had to turn so slowly and so widely that the turn was 2 miles. So you just couldn't come into the port of Palm Beach and turn around. Once it's in there, it's got to back out. That's how big it was. But all it took to control that giant ship was a little rudder. Big things in life are not controlled by big things in life. Big things in life start by small things. Big issues in our life get their start from what we say in faith or fear. That's the problem. We may ask ourselves, why am I going through this? What brought this on? Sometimes we have to look back at what we've been saying and believing about our life. As we said time and time again in Proverbs chapter 18, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. We must make sure that our words conform to the word of God. Don't speak your mind, speak the word of God. Don't speak your feelings or emotions. Say what God said about you. We are in a covenant relationship with God. God did all sorts of crazy things that we can't even fathom to get his son to this earth. So that, as Brother Rohan was saying this morning, he died for us and rose again so that we could rise again with him and be alive in him. There's a reason for all of that. Jesus said, I've got to go away, but I'm not going to leave you alone. I want to go, but I'm coming back. How are you going to do that, Lord? Sounds crazy. The disciples, I'm sure were looking at him sideways. You said you're going to leave, but then you said you're coming back. He said, I'm going to send my comforter to you. Almos Perokletos.